Have you checked the content portal lately? See if they have released the feedback and stuff. Have you seen anything? Is it?
Yeah, I saw it yesterday, yeah, solid feedback from me.
Yeah, I wasn't putting you on the spot or anything. If you had good and bad feedback, but it was more just to, and I can check as well to see if we got some feedback from the session as well. It's a bit different, of course, when you do a hands-on session, but.
Yeah, your one was really interesting with it being both hands-on and in the data village. A lot of energy for sure.
Yeah, I found that it worked pretty well in that environment. And then I didn't manage to see your session, and then this is one of the benefits of doing this program is that we can then just invite people in to do the presentations later, and then we can watch it and ask questions. And even since you only had a 20-minute session, we've tried to. Or I know when I've been cut down to do only 20-minute session because you could have gone for 45 minutes easily, right? So you know that to cut some stuff. So
yeah. That's there. Okay, so do we have our mentees logged in? I think we can start. Okay, so hi everyone. We are back to workshop number 5, and today we have Michael with us, and yeah, all our mentees who have been really working well along with our mentors and also doing the projects as well as going through all of these workshops. So today, Michael is going to take us through. My bad. Michael has earned 2 VOTTs and also a Data Farm Rising Star. He's a Tableau Tech lead at DZV Kidney Care, and you can see his portfolio. I shouldn't say that, like he builds engaging and intuitive experiences. Yeah, you can just check out his profile. We'll put that there as well. And today he's going to, he actually does a lot of map layer around work as well. And I've seen that at Analytics Tug, cool session. And so today he's going to take us through DZV is easy. And to be honest, I think if you have been using Tableau, DZV it actually changed the way how you can enhance the user experience. And it wasn't just about show and hide buttons anymore, but based on logic. So thank you so much, Michael. We've just been over with TC and then again doing presentations. So thoughtful of you and in short notice. So thank you so much.
Of course, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Should I just take it away?
Yeah, please take it away.
Okay. So yes, thank you for having me on. As Pradhan mentioned, this is a presentation I was lucky enough to give at Tableau conference this year, and I'm really excited to come back and share it here because, as Tori mentioned, this is something I love talking about, and I could have gone 30, 40 minutes, and I had 20, so I had to cut some stuff. And so today's fun because I get to go at a slightly slower pace. And I get to share a couple of extra examples, one that I really, really love that it pains me to cut. But this session is all about dynamic zone visibility. This is a feature in Tableau that changed how I thought about Tableau. Up until that point, I liked Tableau just fine. And then dynamic zone visibility came out and I kind of fell in love with Tableau. My name is Michael McCusker. I'm a Tableau tech lead at a company called DZV, and I'm one of the organizers at the San Diego Tableau user group. And San Diego was where Tableau conference was held this year. So our user group got to do a bunch of fun events around the conference. And this is my link on LinkedIn, if you'd like to follow me there. And a couple of things about me. I'm a huge fan of coffee, and not just drinking it. I like to learn about where the coffee has come from, how it's been grown and processed and roasted, like in this visit here to a coffee farm. And on the right is my actual coffee machine, which gives me real-time data visualization every time I make a cup of coffee. So I'm either a data nerd that loves coffee or a coffee nerd that loves data, but I think both are good things. I'm a big fan of theatre, and I'm originally from Scotland, and I've lived in the US for a number of years now, and there are of course differences between living in Scotland and Europe and living in the US. And one of those differences is in Scotland, we pronounce this letter Z with that really hard ED sound at the end. And here in the US, they pronounce it Z. And because I've lived in both places, I tend to jump between Z and Z. But today I'm really going to use Z because I love the rhyming pattern of DZV is easy. And this all falls apart if you use Z. And this is just all about how I think dynamic zone visibility is the quickest, easiest, simplest way towards building great dashboards. Today, I'll talk a little bit about what dynamic zone visibility is in DZV is easy. I'll go through the steps that you need to apply dynamic zone visibility or DZV in 3. You can see why I like the Z sound. And then I'll do a demo, which for Tableau Conference, I call DZV with me. You know, you've got to have these hooks. And if you're not familiar, dynamic zone visibility is just a way for us to show or hide something on a dashboard based on how our user interacts with it. So for instance, they might have a button here that says show map, and they click on that button and up appears a map. They could click on one of the countries and more information about that country appears. And then you can click on those elements again and they disappear. This is a pretty good example of what dynamic zone visibility is. And I love talking about dynamic zone visibility for a number of reasons. First of all, just the phrase dynamic zone visibility, I think is super, super cool. And if this were a game of Scrabble, the coolest of all the games, I'm scoring a lot of points with dynamic zone visibility. Moreover, dynamic zone visibility is so flexible. It can do so many things or enhance your dashboard in so many ways. It can take a dull static dashboard like this table here and make it interactive and engaging and encourage your users to click on it, interact with it. And users that are part of the data experience tend to take in more information than those that just sort of stare at a static image. And this is just one example of dynamic zone visibility. And one of the other great features is it's very easy to get from A to B. Now, we have all spent a lot of time spent a lot of development hours working on something that's really small that nobody ever really notices. And it's probably vital functionality. However, whenever you apply dynamic zone visibility, you can get there fast and you can, everybody notices. It's high impact. And the best bit about it all, out of all of those things, is that it is easy. It only takes 3 steps to apply dynamic zone visibility, or DZV, in 3. We need just 3 things. The first of those is a parameter. And parameters are just really cool bits of functionality in Tableau. They're just empty boxes that we can put whatever we want in as developers. Next up, we'll need a calculated field, and that calculated field will talk to our parameter from step 1. And it's going to be the sort of engine or the linking between the thing that our user interacts with and the thing that happens up on the dashboard. And then step 3, we just bring everything together, and then there's a box that we check on our dashboard. And that really is everything that you need to know about dynamic zone visibility. So this, of course, is going to be easier demonstrated in a live demo. We're going to build a show hide, toggle, some pop-ups, and then a couple of extra examples, which I wasn't able to fit into my Tableau conference presentation. So I'm just going to jump over to Tableau. And this is that same slide again. And you'll see this slide a lot throughout this presentation. It's going to be kind of like our cheat sheet to remind us the 3 steps that we need, the DZV in 3. But at the end of today, you won't need this cheat sheet. So I've added this functionality up here just to hide it when we don't need it anymore. And then we can bring it back when we do. So let me show you real quick how I built that. So this is my worksheet, again, with my cheat sheet. And so I need three things. The first of those things is a parameter. So let's create a parameter. And I'll call this my show hide parameter. I'm going to make it a string and give my users two values. The first of those values will be show, and the second will be hide. And then I'm just going to show that parameter here. So my users have two options, show or hide. Step 2 is the calculated field. And because this calculated field has to talk to my parameter from step 1, I'm just going to drag that straight onto the view like that. And all I want to do is check, does my parameter say the word show? Now, a couple of important things about this calculation is it needs to be true-false, a Boolean calculation, and it has to be independent of the data. And that's one of those funny phrases that came out when dynamic zone visibility was released. All that means is I need to write something in here. I need to hard code it. I'm not able to drag anything in from my data pane on the left into this view. That's not going to work. Let's call this, I always prefix my dynamic zone visibility calculations with DZV and just make it easier to find a little later on. So that's step 1 and 2 done. And then step 3 is just to go to your dashboard, and this doesn't have any dynamic zone visibility applied. You select the object that you want to dynamically show or hide, and up in the top left-hand corner here, under the layout tab, there is this box here that says control visibility using. When you select that, you get a menu appear, and we can just go ahead and find that calculation that we just wrote in step 2. Now, if I bring my parameter onto the view, let's see if it works. So just now it's set to show, and if I change it to hide, it dynamically hides it. And that is everything that you need to know about dynamic zone visibility. I'm going to go on and build a couple more examples, but with increasing complexity. But notice that the complexity never comes from the dynamic zone visibility. That bit always remains the same 3 steps. 1, parameter, 2, a calculated field, and then 3, checking the box. All right, so moving along, at Tableau conference, one of the topics of conversation is always about where is the next Tableau conference going to be. And ahead of time, I prepared some data for Tableau to consider about where Tableau conference should be ahead of time. And I can see here that my images have actually broken. Let me see if I can bring those back real quick. That's fine. I'm going to ignore these for now. And because I'm most interested in things like coffee and theatre, I based my selection off of does this city have good coffee? Does this city have good theatre? So, but when I put everything up on the dashboard like this, it all becomes squished together. There's too much data here for anybody to take in. What I'd actually like to build is something where the user can click through, click through independently and look at each piece of data as we go along. So like here, this is our first city. It's annoying, my image is broken. This city is San Diego, and this was a picture of a San Diego logo. And then this city is New York, and then this city is Las Vegas. These are 3 cities that often hold conferences. And I look at this one and I see San Diego would be a good choice for next year's Tableau conference because we have good coffee here, and we have good theatre, and these are all my different coffee shops pretty near the conference center. New York would be a fun choice because they've got good coffee and good theatre as well. And then we have these pre-conference events, and in New York, I think that pre-conference event would be Data plus Bagels, and I would definitely go along to Data plus Bagels. And then finally, we have Las Vegas. Now, I'm not a fan of Las Vegas. The coffee is very expensive. It's not very good. And the pre-conference event data plus all-you-can-eat buffet just doesn't really sound like a very good idea to me. So let me show you how I built that. So again, we're going to start with DZV in 3. So I have a parameter, step 1, and I've called it my city parameter. And the city parameter just gives my users 3 options. This time it's A, B, and C instead of show or hide. And I used A, B, or C here just in case the cities change. If we suddenly add a city or remove a city from that short list, I don't want my parameter to break. So keeping it generic like this, A, B, or C, or 1, 2, or 3, is often a very good technique. Step 2 was create a calculated field. Now this time I'm actually going to be showing or hiding 3 things. So I want 3 calculated fields. The first of those is I've got here show A, and that's just checking to see if my city parameter returns the letter A. I've got another one that says show B, and then a third one that says show C. Now, with those 3 in place, we've very quickly done steps 1 and 2 of our dynamic zone visibility, our DZV in 3. So all that remains is to go on to this back to our dashboard and apply it to the things that we want to show or hide. Now, I can individually apply it to each image or each worksheet or each text box. But the great thing about dynamic zone visibility is you can apply it to any object on the screen, and that includes containers. So this container here is actually my San Diego container. You can see the blue box around it, and that's all of my San Diego information. And I'm going to apply dynamic zone visibility at that level. So step 3, check the box, come up, control visibility using show A. And it's going to disappear because my parameter is currently set to C. I have another container, and this was my New York container. And I'm going to do the exact same thing, come up onto the top left-hand corner, check the box, and control visibility using show B. And then finally, I'll select my Las Vegas container and do that same step again, this time selecting show C. And now I should be able to test that out by changing my city parameter between A, B, and C. Now, at Tableau conference this year, they made the announcement that San Diego will be the host next year. So obviously they agreed with me that Data Plus Tacos is a great event. The coffee and the theater is good enough to return to Tableau to San Diego for the 4th year running. Now, that example and the example before, those are fun examples, and but it doesn't take too much to convert them into business examples. So for instance, you might take something like this, which is the exact same build. And instead of A, B, or C, I have these icons up top, which allows my user to switch between and view the data as bar charts, line charts, or stick with their tables. And this is a really great way to control real estate on your dashboard, yet provide the users with everything that they need. And as I say, this is exact same build. This is just the A, this is just the B, and this is just the C. Now, whilst we're talking about tables, I'm sure many of you have already been asked to build tables in Tableau, and I am not a fan. Now, Tableau is a fantastic piece of data visualization software, and whenever I get asked to build a table with it, I feel like I'm not using the tool to its full capability. This is a genuine example. When I was I first started off as data analytics, I inherited this table, and all I had to do was come in every now and then and add some more data to it. Now, the most exciting thing that might ever happen with these sort of things is maybe you would add an export to Excel button. The thing that I always got asked to do was to come in and add random pieces of data to this tooltip. And it wasn't very fulfilling as a developer, and it's not very useful to a viewer. You're taking a very text-heavy dashboard and adding even more text to it. So I don't think anybody was particularly happy in this scenario. Instead, what I wanted to build was I could still give the users the table that they wanted, but this time they could come in and rather than a tooltip, they could click on a metric and up would pop more information about the metric. And I love this example because this is a real example. When I first demoed this dashboard, I clicked on a metric and up popped this screen. And immediately we saw this seasonality where patients were canceling appointments in the winter months. You can see it go up in January and up in December. And that was immediate insight that was not available from this table alone. And it was something nobody had ever really kind of spotted before. And so that is dynamic zone visibility, jump into insights with a single click of the button. So let me show you how I built that. Now this next step is not dynamic zone visibility. This is just kind of how I prepared for that. So I have this table, and this is on the rows are parts of my organization. I called them zones just to be generic because this is not a real company. This is all fake data that was provided using Adam Miko's Data Mockstar GPT. This is a really excellent tool if you're building data sets for demos like this one. And so I have these zones in my rows and the metrics of interest in the columns. And when I click on any one of these zones, the name of that zone jumps into this zone parameter on the left. And if I click on any of the columns, the name of that metric jumps into my metric parameter on the right. Hopefully you can see that taking effect. And now if I move around, if I click on the number, both things are jumping in at the same time. And then this bit is the kind of secret sauce. I also have this little X icon. And when I click on that, it puts the word hide into my metric parameter. And with all of those pieces in place, I'm able to build a trend chart, just a single trend chart that changes based on the contents of that parameter. And let me just bring that on the view here and then pick a metric. So if I change the zone or change the metric, my single trend chart updates automatically. So this is really, really cool. And now all I need to do is use DZV in 3 to dynamically show or hide this dashboard. Before I do, I'm just going to move this X up into that top right-hand corner there. And then jump over to my example, back to our cheat sheet, DZV in 3. Okay, so this time my parameter is my, so step 1 is my parameter, but I actually don't need to build another parameter. You saw there that I already had built 2, one for the zone parameter and one for the metric parameter. And I'm just going to borrow one of them. I don't need to write a third one for that. And the one that I borrowed is this metric name parameter. And that's because it is the one, I think it's easier to see here. It has those 9 metrics, but it still also has the one that the word hide can jump into. So step 1 is already done without even trying. Step 2 is the calculated field. And let me see here. Who is in this one? Yep. And this time my calculation is just a little bit different, where it's checking to see, does the metric name parameter say anything other than the word hide? So when it says any of these first 9 options, it's going to return true. And when it says the word hide, it's going to return false. And then finally, back to my dashboard, all I need to do is apply dynamic zone visibility to the object. So selecting my trend chart, step 3, check the box. And I just, this one was called DZV show pop-up. And the cool thing about dynamic zone visibility is I can reuse this calculation and apply it to a number of different things. I'm also going to apply it to the little X icon. So selecting that, control visibility using show pop-up. And now, when I click on the X, the word hide should jump into the parameter and my trend chart disappears. And if my user comes and clicks on one of the metrics, this pops up. And I think this is a really, really cool use of dynamic zone visibility. It both gives the users the tables that they want, it doesn't take up any more screen real estate, and it gives dynamic interaction and interactivity and delivers real insight really, really quickly. And after I built this, something kind of cool happened. People liked the visuals more than the tables. So a couple of projects down the line, I instead got asked to return visuals instead of those tables. So I got to build something a little bit more like this. KPI card, I love building KPI cards. I think they deliver a lot of information really, really fast. And you could sort of say, well, there's nothing more to do here. But we're going to use dynamic zone visibility this time in the exact same way to drill down into the data. So just now, all of these are the metrics aggregated to the company level. But if I click on any of these KPI cards, I then get information about the metric broken down by all of those zones. So just a slightly different way to think about using dynamic zone visibility. And this is a good example here because earlier on I identified that there's this seasonality where our patients are cancelling treatments in the winter months. And that is good actionable insight. Somebody in my company can go off and do something about that. They can start an initiative around that. And then this drill down allows them to target that initiative onto particular zones. And this seems like an awful lot of things that have come just from applying dynamic zone visibility in 3 simple steps. Now, I like this dashboard. I think it's really, really cool. If I'm being super critical about it, I'd like this pop-up to pop just a little bit more. So just now, my user can kind of click on things in the background, which is fine, but I'd prefer for them not to. So I am going to try and make this stand out a little bit more and prevent them from clicking on things in the background. And this is really cool, easy step. So I'm going to take a blank object and just float it on my dashboard. And then let's give it a little bit of color and, importantly, some transparency. And now this dashboard, this blank object with a little bit of color is sitting on my dashboard, but I don't know if you spent much time in this layout tab. I really like this layout section here. This is important. This tells you what order your items are appearing on the dashboard, kind of like your flow order in PowerPoint. And you can just drag things around here. So I'm going to just drag this blank object and sort of place it between my pop-up modal and my dashboard. And you can kind of see it's now sitting there, and on the dashboard itself, it's in front of the main dashboard, but behind the behind the trend chart. And because you can apply dynamic zone visibility to anything, I'm going to use that exact same calculation that I just built, that DZV show pop-up, and apply it to the this kind of fade out blank object. And so now, if I close out of that, both the blank object disappears, and if I click on a metric, both items appear at the same time, and my users cannot click on anything in the background, just making your pop-outs pop out just a little bit more. Okay, final example. I really like this example, and the reason I really like it is because I've been saying DZV in 3 all the way through this presentation, and I'm going to contradict myself. This next example is going to be DZV in 2. Now, to tee it up, I have these 9 metrics, and the bottom of these metrics, down in this bottom right-hand corner, is a metric all about inspections. And on my Tableau cloud, I have a group called inspection group or inspection team. I think actually I might have it up on the screen here. Yeah. So I have this inspection team here. And within that inspection team is just me. I'm the only inspector in this company. Within all of my users, my company is only 2 people. There's me, and then there's not me. This is really cool. If you are interested in server or site admin, Tableau will give you your own cloud environment and let you have a couple of users on there to play around with. And so this is my own cloud environment as part of the dev program. I recommend checking that out. So I have these 2 users, Michael McCusker, not Michael McCusker. Only Michael McCusker is in the inspection team. And then I have a calculated field that just checks, is the person that is signed in, is the person who is looking at this Tableau dashboard part of the inspection team? And I'm not sure if you've seen this before. I really like this. Down in the bottom right-hand corner, there is the ability to mimic another user. So if you click on here, if I change that out to not Michael McCusker, you can see not Michael McCusker's viewing the dashboard, and he is returning false for the is in inspection team. Hopefully that makes sense. Basically, I just have a toggle that allows that returns true when I'm signed in and returns false when anybody else is signed in. So what I have here is a calculated field that is true, false, and independent of my data, which is step 2 of DZV and 3. So I've gotten to step 2 without having to go via step 1. Now, if I go back to my dashboard, just pop that back to me. It's been decided only the inspection team should be able to see this bottom right-hand metric, and everybody else should only be able to see the first 8 metrics. Now, in the past, I would have to build and maintain 2 different dashboards for those 2 different teams. But thanks to dynamic zone visibility, I can select this KPI card, and on step 3, control visibility using, this is my DZV calculation, group member check. And when the inspection team come into this dashboard, they see all of the metrics. And when anybody not in the inspection team comes in, they do not see the final metric. So I've just saved myself an entire dashboard build, all of the maintenance and upkeep that goes along with that, and dynamic zone visibility in 2. Okay, that is all of my examples. Let me jump back to my presentation here. Oh, it's in one of these. There it is. Okay, so it kind of doesn't matter if you pronounce it Z or Z. It gives you a nice rhyming pattern if you use Z. But all that does matter is that dynamic zone visibility is easy. You can apply it in just 3 steps, and it is a really fast path to adding interactivity and engagement to your dashboards. Those were my examples, a couple of which I didn't get to share at Tableau conference, but thank you for your time and listening to me today, and I'm happy to take any of your questions.
Yeah, I'm glad I signed in for this to see. There was a couple of cool examples that I liked that I hadn't used myself, so I'm gonna borrow or steal like an artist.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah. And yeah, I think at least there was one comment as well that probably knew about this DZV, but not for containers as well. So that's I mean, everything that you put in there you can move or you can click on. So that's good. Is there any questions from the group as well? they do have a project that they're working on with some data, so that they have till the end of the month, which is not very many days. So maybe we will see some late night workarounds to get some dynamics, some visibility moving in there.
This presentation with all of the images that didn't break during this call is up on Tableau Public. I've just popped the link to it in the chat there. But it doesn't include the last example about users, because you cannot do user calculations on Tableau Public.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good comment as well. It's never been so easy to understand, right? It's sometimes it looks a bit, or people are overcomplicating these things. I remember when I started using those as well, I had so many issues, things didn't work, and I was doing all kinds of calculations and adding stuff, and then suddenly I realized that, well, it's not as difficult as it has to be.
Yeah, I had the exact same journey where when it was released, I just looked at it and saw what the data fan were doing with it and thought, well, this isn't for me. This is for advanced users, people who are putting out really cool stuff. And I think some of the documentation didn't help that, because it was quite difficult to understand. And I left it. I left it for about 6 months. And then it wasn't until I returned and gave it a try, because I had this idea of that table that I wanted to enhance, that I thought, actually, I must be missing something, because this is too straightforward. So yeah, really cool name, but Tableau could have done better on the early documentation.
You're muted. Or are you dancing? I don't know what you do.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just saying, like, it's so fun once you get into it. It's more of like how you can play around with booleans, and you can just have different things controlled. Okay, so seems like we don't have any question today. I think we'll have lots of questions in the project review. So thank you so much again, Michael, for doing this with us.
Of course.
Everyone had a blast, and thank you to our mentees as well for joining, as well as learning from the session. Hope this helps you in your projects.
Yeah, you still have a few. There's one submission so far. We're waiting for the rest by the end of the month. And then we have scheduled a session in, can't remember, was it the 11th of June, when we will go through them and give some feedback.
Before that, we have one more session on 1st of June. That's Monday.
Yeah.
This month is going to be busy a bit.
Yeah, okay. So I guess we'll see you at Data Plus Tacos next year then, Michael.
Yeah, already starting to plan it. Thanks, guys. Thank you for your time, and good luck, mentees. And talk to you soon. Bye.
Take care.
Yeah, and that's it. See each other on Monday then.
Monday. You can join just after 20 minutes. We have analytics tag as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is on the agenda? Do you know? What's on the agenda?
What's on the agenda? I think Andy Kriebel is talking. And who else? Let me just see.
Yeah, he's been busy now on user groups this
yeah.
Here's a question actually. Can DZV be used to toggle between different dashboards? And yeah. Well, it's not, if you have created multiple dashboards, they will be still separate entities. So it's inside of a dashboard that you could, you can have well, you can use those parameters to switch, but you don't necessarily switch the entire dashboard, right? If I'm not mistaken, you can't switch the entire dashboard. You need to. You can have those buttons, and then you can have a menu and click on it and go to the next.
Yeah, there is mostly you can change a parameter based on if you want to show and hide, but then if you just want to switch, better use navigation buttons.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can change any object in a dashboard, but not a dashboard to another dashboard. Then you just use those navigation buttons instead.
Yeah, like we had one use case when, let's say, if we go from the second page of the dashboard to the home page, but then we had to also reset some of the parameters. Then you also just use go to sheet and parameter actions.
Yeah.
Yeah, just move.
Yeah, like a combination there.
Mm.
And you probably have seen those kind of things. I'm just going to show just an example in here when we talk about these buttons, right? So in this dashboard, you can see it now, right? Yeah. So this is the directory of, well, this is Norwegian name, but I can't remember their English. They are responsible for everything that has to do with oil and gas and stuff outside of Norway. So this is basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dashboards. So when you click on the next one, you see that the menu just changed the background in here. So just changed the dark background, and now this one is white, and we have a completely new dashboard. But for the end user, they don't know if it's one or multiple dashboards, but it looks like there's multiple dashboards going on in here just using these navigation buttons. I'll put that into, it's not downloadable, but there is a whole bunch of these templates that you can find. I favorited one or many, but there's one that I've used sometimes in here. I'm just going to find that as well. And that's also a good tip if you would like to, if you follow somebody on public and you know that they're building a lot of stuff, always check out who they have as favorites, because there is always a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
So this one, this is, you see, is similar kind of setup, right? With different type of navigation. You have the setup on the right hand side, and you have multiple A2, I don't know how many numbers in here, but different kind of layouts to create templates as well. So just as an example.
Yeah.
But you'll find a lot of those, and you probably have seen a lot of those on public as well, but just as a note. So good luck with the analytics tug. I guess you have a couple of thousand people sign up as usual.
Yeah, it's good.
Or a few, some hundreds.
Yeah, not more this time. Annabelle was telling me. But yeah, we aren't doing much actually. So we need to, me and Chimney need to work more on this. So it's actually a great session. I just took a look, and it's on mapping customer retention in Tableau. So very specific, but how to use a jump plot to tell a real compelling story. Then you have from PDF to self-service. So if you want to join, guys, I've sent the link. It's just in 15 minutes. Lots of banters there as well.
Good luck.
Yeah. Okay, then see you on Monday, everyone. Take care.
Have fun. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
See you Monday. Say hi to Igor.
Yeah, he left. He has his flight today.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun week. He came at the right time. We had holidays as well.
Yeah. So you're a bit tired then.
Yeah, he was tired, but then we were partying as well. Like,
Yeah,
for
actually.
the last 5 days, it's been like, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. You have to remember that this is recorded, so I guess we have to stop.
Yeah, it's fine. Now I think I can.